Hello and welcome to the Unconventional Podcast with Grace Hardy. Today I'm joined by Aaron Knightley, so thank you so much for coming.
It's an absolute pleasure to be here. I'm glad to be back in the studio.
I know, it's like home away from home for you.
Literally, I've spent many hours in here, so yeah, I love it.
And it's my first hour in the studio.
That's it. I'm more comfortable than you right
Exactly,
now.
which is perfect. But for those who don't know who you are, do you want to give a short introduction?
I'm going to do what I always do. No title, just Aaron Knightley. I am a busy guy who is trying my hardest. I come from very humble beginnings. I left the 9 to 5. I wanted more from life. I've pursued it every single day. And look, take all titles out of it about what I do. I've gone into business. I'm trying to help as many people as possible, trying to wake a lot of people up. But I am somewhat of an entrepreneur, I suppose, and I'm sure we're going to get into a lot of it anyway.
Yeah, definitely, 100%. But the first thing was when I was consuming your content, like long form and short form, the first thing I felt was a bit of envy, I think, because you are so good at just calling people out on their bullshit, like whether that be in a 9 to 5 or like in a business owner setting. And for me, I joined the corporate world when I was 18, and there were a lot of things that happened that made it sort of a toxic workplace where I didn't stand up for myself, which you're incredibly good at doing. So how do you spot those signs in a toxic workplace?
I think the thing is, my content, as you said, it's straight to the point and kind of there is no BS. And I think what really works quite nicely is that I don't fluff around and I'm not trying to tiptoe and I'm not trying to make things sound fluffy when the world isn't fluffy. So when you get straight to the point, you hit a nerve. And the great thing is, I think with my content, and the reason why it's done so well is because it creates a divide. And it's either an agreement, a wake-up call, and yeah, I'm feeling that, or people go into denial, so it's a disagreement. And that's what's working really well. But the great thing is, I think it's getting people thinking of like, actually, I'm not going to put up with it. Another human being, just because they have a title and a bigger salary, that does not justify they get to talk to me however they want. And that's what it comes down to, human respect. And unfortunately, and what I'm addressing in a lot of my content is just because you go inside four walls does not give someone the right to put another human being down, which is where I suppose really my content has ended up going down, is trying to empower people to think, look, if you don't want to put up with it, build something for yourself.
No, and I think that's such an important message, especially now. I think it's 1 in 3 Gen Z want to be self-employed now, so they want to leave the workplace. But for those that are thinking about it but are too scared to make the leap, how do you make them take the jump?
Well, number one, what's something that everyone suffers with in the beginning is belief. They don't think it's possible. If you come from a council estate, if you come from no money, your parents have never been in business, you doubt, you have imposter syndrome, which also is made up, but you question yourself whether it's possible. Is it just for a certain person from a certain type of cloth and all this kind of stuff? So it's overcoming that. And number one, it's like your mindset and the whole framework of you as a being needs to be addressed. And there's 4 evaluations. I spoke about it with Sammy as well, but it's really important is that self-evaluation first.
Yeah.
Everyone wants more money. Everyone wants to enjoy what they do every day, but not everyone has it. Like not everyone has developed the belief. So really what I do with a lot of people is I say, look, forget about the business. Number one, do you believe that it's possible? 9 times out of 10 they say, no, I couldn't be a millionaire. You could. That's the thing, you could, which leads me on to the second part of that. You're not around the right people, because you would believe if you were around the right people who are doing it. So those are the 2 areas in which I try and really push people to learn is that number one, believe because it is possible, and then change your social circle. And then the rest, that all follows. Yeah.
And so what you said about not believing in imposter syndrome, can you expand on that a bit more? Because obviously a lot of people online will talk about imposter syndrome and how they feel it affects them. Why don't you think it's a thing?
Because it's caring about what other people think about your opinion. So imposter syndrome, I don't know where it came from, but it came from someone. And I think this has developed over time and it's become more of a meme and a clickbait thing for people to talk about. But essentially what's happened is we've all been able to give and have a voice through cameras and audio, and we've been able to get our face out there. Some smart ass has turned around and gone, well, who are you to say that? So then that's made people sort of be like, should I say that? Am I entitled to an opinion? So someone's like, I felt a bit of an imposter saying that. And then someone else, and it's a ripple effect from there. It's just because we all have this ability to have an opinion.
Yeah.
It's made up. If you know something, you have knowledge and you have experience and you want to share it with the world, bloody share it. and don't feel bad about it, and don't care what other people think. I think that's the biggest thing as well.
No, and I think that's so important, especially with social media now. You'll see comments and people saying things about you or about someone else, and then some people will take that quite personally. But I always think if they have time to comment those things, then they should go for a walk or build a business, and then they would never have time to comment.
All the time. I have people in my comments going, who are you to say that? What do you know? He knows nothing. I don't have time. I have a family and work full time. But you have time to scroll on TikTok and leave me 4 comments, don't you? And I am replying to you because I want the algorithm push. But you're here. Like, why aren't you making, being more productive? Like, so everyone has this ability. But yeah, I think social media has really divided people into productivity and distraction. There's no in between. You fall into distraction and productivity. And, again, I've always fallen more into that productivity. Again, I think the thing is with making moves, escaping your job and these kind of subjects, you consume or you create. That's what a business owner is, or an entrepreneur or a content creator. You consume or you create. You're successful or you're distracted. There's no in between. You're either one. Yeah. And that's it.
And so to surround yourself with the right people, where would you say to start? So if you're in a 9-to-5, for example, and you're not quite sure where to go because you're surrounded by the same people that are maybe in the office going, oh, I hate my job, I hate this, my life's rubbish, and you can't get out of that environment, where do you go?
So there's a few parts to this, I think, because it's actually more complex than what you think. So there's something which I just talk about is self-mastery. And self-mastery really is getting to grips with your feelings and emotions and learning to compartmentalize and disconnect, which is really important because one thing I was very good at in my 9-to-5 is going through emotion and being very collected in terms of not having to talk to other people about my big plans because I was aware they could jeopardize that. So sort of really getting yourself together and having that self-mastery to know that your co-workers are co-workers. They are not your friends. It is a situational relationship. You have not chosen to be there. You have to be there. And then when you can identify that, then it's about going, okay, let me look in my WhatsApp. Who am I talking to? Who is going to allow me and help me to progress? And then it's a case of networking. There's no magic answer. There's no secret. Book a ticket to London and go 3-4 times every single month and just network with people. Go to a marketing event, a business event, a sales event, social media, whatever it might be. Network all the time until you start to think there's great people in the world. There's smart people in the world. There's a lot of money in the world. I want a piece of it. And then don't go and tell your co-workers that you're doing that. And that's it. Yeah. It's literally those 2 parts. Networking and building a new social circle is just networking.
Yeah, and I think sometimes if you tell your co-workers, obviously it's your choice. I remember telling my co-workers I was leaving my job. I was like, I've handed in my letter of resignation, and they said, good joke, we'll see you next week. And I was like, I'm not going to be here next week. And they just laughed at me and thought it was hilarious. And then I was gone. Yeah. And so I think it's really important to surround yourself with like-minded people. I think it's like you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So it's really important that there are a certain caliber of people, and definitely people that are more successful than you.
Yeah, you never run against people that are slower than you. And I think the other thing to overcome, again, imposter syndrome, lack of belief, maybe lack of confidence, is that there is this old belief and maybe old narrative that people still think that wealthy people, successful people, however you define it, right? But people will say, well, if they made a lot of money and they're doing great things, they're somewhat successful, that they are not going to talk to people who aren't successful. And that's really not the case. And I'm certainly living and breathing that. And I look back at my journey and I think, gosh, I've had so many people that have been ultra successful in all walks of life in kind of what they're doing. And they've given me so much time, which then made it very hard for me to go back to the corporate world and put up with rubbish. And really it comes down to getting your money right. Like when you get your money right, which recently I was in a couple of news articles about my finances, is that is the core of stability and confidence and empowerment. Because if you've got your money right, you don't put up with crap from anyone. No one. I don't put up with anything from anyone. No one tells me what to do, ever, because I've always had my money right. That's one thing that people lack. So when you learn from the people that have done very well financially and you understand that actually they've got their money right first and that now they don't have to put up with rubbish, when you go back into your corporate world, you just think, right, if I actually start getting my salary in order, I don't have to put up with these people that micromanaging and talking down to me. Do you know what? It's all so simple. Like to escape your job, it's so simple.
Yeah. It is. And I think people like to overcomplicate it a lot.
Yeah.
They like to look at external people that are doing what they want to do and then basically say horrible things about them and say they can't do it. And then when you fall or you have a failure, they're the first ones to go, oh, I told you so. But that's a little piece of them because they kind of wish they could do it. But if you're not doing it, it means they won't be able to do it either.
Yeah, but this is why you never tell people if you're trying to get out of your job. Because if you tell them, that's going to highlight an insecurity of them going, oh, I could never get out of this job. You're not going anywhere. I'm never going to tell about your big plans because you've just told me that you're going to be leaving here and you're building a business. Are you building on company time? Do I tell the manager? Then they think you're the big shot.
Yeah.
People don't want you to do better than them.
Yeah.
Like hate never comes from above though. You'll never have a successful person tell you that, you know, they don't want you to do well. And there's a great saying, I played it on one of my clips recently, is that it was a quote of saying something like, I said to a group of people that I was going to become a millionaire. Everyone laughed at me apart from the millionaire. Again, it's that belief, it's that support. And there's that, you know, Michael Howard, who's a great friend of mine, he's been ultra successful, always said there's an unwritten rule with entrepreneurs. They help other entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
Simon Squibb has helped me a huge amount. You know, Simon has been a lifesaver at times. You know, he's really helped me out. There's an abundance of help. So it's never been easier. And the bar is so low to be successful.
Yeah.
How do you be successful? Have discipline, make sacrifices, show up every day. No one's doing that. Like, look after your body. Like, that's the absolute... I find it hard to take advice from someone who's overweight. I just do. Because it's like values and standards.
Yeah.
So to me, like changing your life, escaping your job, super simple, but people can't do it.
And I think sometimes it starts with small habits. So when I started my business, I read Atomic Habits, which I thought was a great book, really helpful. But it is about making those small habits. So it's about drinking enough water, looking after your body by going to the gym, putting time aside to start your side hustle or your business if you're still in your 9 to 5. And those small steps really make you become a better person, really.
Yeah, and humans need more accountability and repercussions. You actually need to go to the worst place possible to understand that if you don't change, this is going to happen. We're very weird as humans, and I find there's a great book. It's called I Know What to Do, So Why Don't I Do It by Dr. Nick Hall, right, PhD. It says does what it says on the tin, basically. We know what to do, but we don't do it. We know that we should look after our body because it's the number one vehicle that is going to allow us to have longevity, but we don't look after it. And we know we should look after our money because hard times are coming, but we don't do it. We know that we shouldn't be booking holidays on a credit card, but we don't do it. And it's quite bizarre, really, because it just goes to show that people can't have delayed gratification and how easily influenced people really are, which also tells us that not a lot of people really know their values or what they want from life. Mm-hmm. And again, a lot of people want, but they don't really know how. A lot of people want more money and they want to escape their job. But again, they haven't built in the habits, they haven't built in the structure, they haven't changed themselves. They don't know what they want. So again, it's actually attacking the person and changing the person more so than what's the business, how do I make the money? That comes. But it's literally changing the person to then go on to do all these great things.
Definitely. And I think when you're starting a business, especially by yourself, it can be quite lonely, especially taking that leap from a 9 to 5 into being a business owner. But why do you think people are so scared of being alone?
I think people are scared of being alone. I talk about this, and I think the core reason is that feeling of dread of not being able to talk about the problems, gossip about the problems. It's going through a period of feeling lonely, which I suppose no one wants to feel lonely. And naturally, as humans, we want to be quite pack-like, where we're in a tribe and, you know, we have support and that we go, you know, look, when someone's going through a divorce, they want to hang around with people that are divorcees. If someone doesn't have a job, who do they want to hang around with? People who haven't got a job. They don't want to hang around with people who do have a job because the conversation is going to be totally different. You know, someone who drinks isn't going to want to hang around with me because I don't drink. So people want to hang around with people like them. For example, if people want to change their life and they wanted to get out of their job or they want to improve their health, to go through that period of void, that emptiness of, oh my God, I've cut off people that I know were no good for me or weren't on the same journey, and now I'm lonely. Get comfortable being a lone wolf for a little period until you find your new pack, like the people who are going to support you. And I don't know, I feel, are we a little bit weaker? I don't know. Are we not ruthless enough? I don't know. This is what I'm still addressing in my content. Are we becoming a weak society? I think so.
I think we're definitely becoming more and more influenced by other people's opinions. So, for example, you'll see all those people that do like Forex trading with flashy cars and watches and designer clothes and things like that. And then people will look at it and go, right, well, I want to live that lifestyle, so I need to now go buy that watch. They can't necessarily afford that watch, but when they buy the watch, they feel closer to that person, that lifestyle. And I think that's definitely just such a downward spiral because, as you brought up before, credit card, people are going to so easily get into credit card debt because they're trying to chase a lifestyle they can't necessarily afford, and instead of buying those material items, just actually put the steps in to build that lifestyle for yourself.
Do you know why all of this comes about? Because they don't know what they want. You know, if you were to ask these individuals, what do you want? What do you want from life? How much money do you want to earn? Typically you'll hear people say, well, I'd love £10,000 a month. Okay, why do you want £10,000 a month? Because that's a significant amount of money. Why do you want that? Well, I suppose I've seen it online. That's what everyone... You have no idea what you want. If you ask me what I want to retire in the country, copper pans with my family, little electric car. I want to be able to do what I want, work remotely, enough money in the bank that I can just chill. I don't need millions upon millions. I could quite easily live a very comfortable life, £4,772 a month. That'd be absolutely fine. I know what I want and I know how to get it. But if you ask other people, it's what everyone else wants. I want that. What you want, what they've got, or what they're showing you. Yeah, I want that. So you have no idea what you want. No, I suppose not, but I do want that. So I think also is figuring out, again, are people easily influenced? Has social media done a really bad job? I think so. But then that reflects on the person. Have we got weak people?
Yeah.
Because I'm not influenced by bloody anyone. No one. I don't give a monkeys. I don't want flashy stuff. Could I go out and buy a Rolex? Yeah, but I'm sitting here with my Apple Watch.
Yeah, I'm wearing some fake Uggs at the moment.
I'm wearing Primark jeans.
Love it so
much. And I'm wearing my own merch.
As you should.
Yeah.
But how do people go and find their why? Because I think, especially building a business, you need a purpose bigger than monetary value because, again, money can't buy you everything, but you need to have a why. And how do you sort of sit and figure that out?
Well, I think the why comes from maybe some wake-up calls, perspective, having a child, not wanting to remain in a place of pain. Maybe you have some fear of not having money and struggling. It needs to be very tangible in terms of, again, consequence. I think you need to tap into the worst case scenario. If I was to get to 60 years old, am I going to be in a state home where if I fall off the bed, I'm going to get kicked and I'm going to get thrown? And, you know, people don't like to put themselves 30 years down the road and they don't want to think about it. They want to live here, now, Bali, photo on an elephant and living on a beach and taking the photo. They don't want to go to the 60-year-old. I'm quite happy to go to the 60-year-old, which then coming back to the present time, I can go, right, Aaron, my why is because in 5 years and 10 years and 15 years, I want to, I remain in shape. I stay very lean all year round because I want to make sure that when I'm 50, I can still do a Tough Mudder with my son. Yeah. I want to be able to climb Snowdon 3 times a year when I'm 50. I want longevity. You need to go ahead in the future. And I think that scares a lot of people to go, I don't want to think of myself as 60. Well, you have to. What's your life going to be like? Are you going to be broke and struggling and, Keir Starmer's buggered up the UK? Or are you going to have money in the bank and you can live, maybe you can leave or whatever and you can do what you want? So worst case scenario, then come back to the present moment, work out a plan from there.
And basically reverse engineer what you want.
Reverse engineer everything. Yeah.
And that's so important. But you talk a lot about learning to say no to things, which is quite important. I've always been a bit of a people pleaser, especially when I was younger, and I would just say yes with a big fat smile on my face and sort of be dying inside, just wanting to say no. But how do you get the confidence to be able to say no to people?
Okay, punchy line coming up. Start saying no because no one cares about you. No one cares about you. The God's honest truth. This is going to be a live test of no one cares about you. Grace, if I visit Jesus tomorrow, are you going to lose sleep tomorrow, the day after, and the day after?
No.
The truth is no. Vice versa. I'd be like, oh, what a shame. Seemed like a lovely girl on the podcast, but I'm still going to continue with my life if you visit Jesus.
Yeah.
That's the God's honest truth. You don't feed my family. I do. So when you realise no one cares, you can start to identify, well, you want to meet me for a coffee? Great. What am I getting? My good friend Jason Greystone, another shout out to Jason. I learn a lot from him. He's a great mentor of mine, is that, even being someone who's outspoken and confident and mixing with different types of people and networking, I like to learn to be more of an introvert.
Yeah.
Be in a bubble. I make a lot of sales and I make very good money because logistically I don't move about too much. I don't accept, I said to you, I don't really do too many podcasts now. Like, I'm really picky and I want to make sure it's right for me. Learn to be in your own bubble. Saying no is respecting your time.
Yeah.
There has to be a fair exchange of value. In this podcast, you're going to get great clips, hopefully, and going to be a great piece of content. I'll also get the content.
Yeah.
There is a fair exchange. So saying no is about respecting you. Like, work on you. I have just learned that as I've gotten older, is that no one cares and no one's coming to save you.
I totally agree. And I think I learned that piece of advice through social media. So when I started my TikTok, Instagram, whatever platform it was, I was ego posting because I was like, a day in the life of a 21-year-old business owner. And it would do shit, to be honest.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh my God, no one gives a shit. Like, no one cares what I do day to day. No one cares if I have a cup of coffee in the morning or go on the tube. Like, no one cares. What they do care about is being educated on my platform about tax and financial education. That's what they care about. They don't care what I eat in a day.
And that's why anyone that works with me, whether they're trying to build their brand or start off the business, I'll do like a bit of an audit and I'll have a look and I'll go, no one cares that you're a CEO mum of your life. Take it out. No one cares. No one cares that you like lasagna. It's serving no one. People only care when you're helping them change their life or make money.
Yeah.
That's the God's honest truth. Or you're saving their life.
Yeah.
And when you come to realize that, you'll start making more calculated and proactive decisions. So now, when something comes across my table or whatever, I will just weigh up what is the return on time invested. That is my most important metric over everything. Okay, cool, great. Is it a great opportunity? Great. What am I getting? And that's not selfish. Like, that's working on you. Because again, no one else is going to look after you. Everyone else, again, why I talk about never trust your co-workers. When people turn around and go, I love my co-worker. No, you don't. No, you don't. Give it a rest. You don't. Oh, but we're like a family. Drop it. You're not a family, because they will throw you under the bus because you are in a financial driven, hyper-competitive, situational relationship.
Yeah.
That they will turn on you in a heartbeat. Oh no, but we go out for drinkies with the girly poos. Whatever, you do you. So when you realize that, I think you just get a better perspective of life and you're kind of like, okay, I'll start making better decisions. Because that's what it is, choices. Life is a sequence of choices. You make good ones, you make bad ones. That's it.
Yeah, 100%. And I think authenticity is really important, especially when you're looking to grow your social media platform. You're authentic all the time, and that's why your platform does so well. You just say it how it is and you're yourself. Like, if I took you from a TikTok to now, you're the same person. Yeah. Which is great. And I think people need more of that, which is really valuable.
It's less tiring. I'm never going to get to a point of depression. I'm not pretending to be a character. This is literally what I'm like all day long. And then, I feel so strongly about never making excuses, and I've never been given anything. And it's like the whole cost of living or not going to uni, it just sparks people up when I talk about these things. But like the cost of living and not going to uni are very raw subjects for some people. But when you address it and they know deep down that you're addressing something that's very real,
yeah.
But perhaps they've gone to uni or perhaps they've complained about the cost of living, but you start talking about, right, I want to see your finances. Or you've gone to uni, what have you done with it? They don't want to, well, it's none of your business. I don't want to talk about it. How dare you? But I'm fucking right though, aren't I? They don't like it. And I think addressing the truth in content, again, for me, it works very well. It will highlight a true story, which people will go, I'm taking ownership. I needed to hear that, which I get a lot of. Yeah. Aaron, this Appreciate morning, I needed that, dude. Other people going, how dare he?
What are your thoughts on not going to uni? How valuable do you think it is? Do you think it's something that is sort of oversaturated at the moment and people shout about it and think it's great when in reality it's not?
Do not go to university. It is a total waste of time. Listen to what I'm saying, if you want time freedom and financial stability. Mm-hmm. Why would you waste your time going there for 4 years when you can literally build a business from home? It's going to take some sacrifices, some discipline. Yes, there's going to be short-term pain, but you can end up earning more than the lawyer or the doctor or the physio that you went for 4 years, listening to someone who's never developed a business in economics and business studies or whatever it might be. It's pointless. The one common goal of all adults is time freedom. You ask any adult in the world, do you want to do what you want to do every single day of your life and in contentment, no depression, and you work or with who you want to, and you do whatever every single day. You live life freely, purpose and fulfillment. There's going to be no adult in this world that goes, no, I want stress, loss of hair, and I want to be overworked and understaffed. And I want to be taxed on my £125,000 doctor's salary. Yeah, whatever. Absolute BS. Nonsense. So when people do turn around, there will be some people on this as well that go, oh, but it was 4 years that I networked and I met some great... Oh, it's rubbish. I met great people at university. I have a 2.8 billion, probably more now, network. My phone is worth a hell of a lot of money. There's not a call I can't make and get hold of someone in the UK. Someone will know someone. I didn't go to uni. I'm covered in tattoos. I've even got a tattoo on my neck. You know, I love that one, Professor Green. That'll probably come up. I didn't go to uni, and I earn far more than a high-paid doctor in London. It's the truth.
No, it is the truth. And obviously I didn't go to university either. All my friends are still at university in debt and I'm not. I'm running multiple businesses, very happy. I have my time freedom. I can decide what I want to do every single day and decide what I wear and who I speak to and grow my network and all those amazing things. And I just sort of think that it's portrayed as something that you need to go to. I think it's pushed by the government. I think it's pushed by schools, and it's also pushed by parents sometimes as well, which is such a shame. I just think that people need to go and research what they want for themselves.
Look, when it comes to education for children, my son is 11, very clued up. Year 9, after year 9, he does not need to be at school anymore. He doesn't really need to be at school now. God's honest truth, he's very smart. He can network with anyone. He's so clued up. He's already started editing.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah, look, my son, I have no doubt my son will probably be racking in anywhere from £4,000 to £5,000 gross by the age of 14. Absolutely no doubt, because I'll take him on myself as an editor. I know what I will pay him. I'll introduce him to my friends. Both of my editors have gone full-time. I know what my editors earn. My son will be a third editor. I'll help him build a media agency. So why on earth would my son ever go to university or to college when he will be earning more than the professor? It doesn't make any sense. And now it's not knocking, because there will be some people who are like, oh, you can't do it. We need doctors. Yeah, okay, but it's not going to be me. No. I don't want to be a doctor.
And that's okay. And now doctor apprenticeships have come out. So you don't even need to go to university if you want to be a doctor.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
When was the last time you were asked for a CV? When was the last time a job rang up your previous employer? Job hopping's good.
Yeah.
Go to somewhere for 2 years, learn the skill set, move on, go into a higher paid job. Keep moving. When people turn around and say, oh, I've been in my job 15 years. I'm going to show you something. 15 years. I've had 4 promotions. It scares the living daylights out of me. Now, this one cracks me up. I'll just quickly show you this.
50 years, 7-Eleven.
50 years he's been at this company. He got an email. He got an email. I'm sure he's happy as Larry.
I'm sure.
50 years and he got an email. Pleased as punch.
I saw someone on LinkedIn nominated for an award, and the judges had been announced, and someone was like, so happy, I've been a judge for this award for 20 something years, and I thought you'd been a judge longer than I've been alive. That's crazy. Scares
the living daylights out of me, which is why when people turn around and they, again, old narratives, old baby boomers, 25 years I've been no dude, you're preaching to the wrong crowd. Honestly, dude, you saying 25 years has just freaked me out.
Yeah.
If you had have said I move everywhere 2 years and now I've just started up a startup company, that would have impressed me. But Shania Twain, that don't fucking impress me much. So again, job titles, I'd ban job titles. Again, that's something I talk about. I would get rid of it. And that's why I don't introduce myself as CEO, or an entrepreneur, business owner. I do this, right? I'm from very humble beginnings. Aaron Knightley, came out the womb, Aaron. That's it. That's why I build good relationships, because when you can be humble and you should be likable, you can go so much further because people want you to do really well. Whereas when you're like, I am general manager of the southern region, I'm on 60s. I used to hear it all the time. I used to be like, you're a plonker. Go away. Don't care.
I think that's so important. I've seen that you've talked about the fact that you want to ban the word manager and change it to leader. Yeah. Which I think is actually quite a good one, to be honest, because especially in corporate, people love the hierarchy. They're like, I'm a senior assistant. And it's like, okay, great, good for you. But what does that actually mean? And they always talk about people oh, I manage X amount of people under me. And it's like, well, if that's all you've got going for you, Susan, like, it's not a lot.
And again, it's a power trip, isn't it? I think having that power and being told that you have employees and you have people under you and you can control them, and if they don't do as they say, you have the right to put them on a performance review. You know, we crush a lot of people's dreams. You know, isn't it weird? If you came into a job interview, you're actually meant to be a little bit like a dum-dum. You know,
I was a dum-dum at my first corporate job. I didn't know anything.
But even if you've got skill sets, you can't tell them that. If you were interviewing me and you were like, right, tell me why you think you're going to be good at the shelf stacker. You know, I could be so smart, but I can't tell you that because I won't get the job.
Yeah.
And then over time, you're sort of like, oh, maybe I am a robot. Maybe I haven't got maybe those dreams that I had, maybe they can't come to fruition because maybe all I'm good at is stacking shelves. Because in the interview, you're actually having to convince someone that you're not creative, you're not outspoken, you couldn't climb the ladder and overtake the person sitting in front. Because they're not going to go, yeah, you've got a lot of potential. Unfortunately, yeah, you're not right for the job. Not right for the job. I'd run the place. What do you mean I'm not right for the job? But they don't want you. They want systematic, robotic, you know, mind-numbing individuals. And unfortunately, a lot of dreams are crushed and suppressed over time. And that's what I find a real shame because human beings can do a lot more.
And I think we're so creative. At my corporate job, we were all basically told to be the same as each other, and anything creative was sort of suppressed. So when I started my business, I found it really difficult to find a USP because I was like, well, my whole corporate life, I've been told to just be the same as everyone else. And now I have to be different and I have to find that for myself. And that was actually really, really difficult.
Yeah. See, for me, I've done a lot of videos about this. I was a nightmare. Aaron, can you do it? No. What do you mean no? I'm not doing that. That's your job. Literally in the meeting, because I had FU money in the bank. Because I've looked after my money for so long and I've never bought materialistic things. You know, I used to rock up in my little car, my little pot, and no one knew a thing. So we'd be sitting around, right, Aaron, you're going to need to take, no, you're telling the wrong person. And I'd always stay on that vanilla line where they couldn't quite do anything. And I just wouldn't do it. And I'd walk slow everywhere. I wouldn't go, no one would go, right, we need something from we're going to, Aaron, no, he won't do it. Lloyd, can you go do that? Or Dave, can you do that? It would never ask me because I put my foot down. And I did not put up, and I got left alone for a lot of it. I even took a grievance out on the biggest person on site at one point, and I won the grievance. So everyone was like, "Oh my god, we're leaving him alone." When we would have graduate shift managers start, two of the managers that I was fairly friendly with used to pull every graduate manager I had aside. And Ben, if you're watching this, who's an old friend of mine actually, still a friend today. He was top lad. They would pull the graduate managers aside and say, "Just leave Aaron alone. Let him get on and do his thing. Everyone else, you can do whatever. Do not disturb Aaron." That's why I used to love it. No. I didn't put up with it.
And I love how you created such strong boundaries, which is something I definitely didn't do in my corporate experience. I was very much just saying yes to everything. When I was 18, I started training graduates that were coming from university and they got handed to me and I went, yeah, I'll teach them. Don't worry, I'll review their work. I'll work longer hours because I have to review their work, redo their work if it's wrong and then do my work on top of it. Yeah. And then it got to the point where I was not happy anymore. And I was like, I can see everyone's journey. Like there's partners in accounting. And I just saw that realistically, those partners are just the people that have stuck it out the longest.
It's literally that. People who are willing to be the nodding dog. I stamped my mark pretty early because if you look at someone into their soul, you can remind them that they're only in there in four walls. And there were many occasions where someone new came in and they thought they could talk to me in a certain way. And you can look at someone in their soul and think, and just remind them, you are inside four walls. Believe me, when we leave here, it's fair game. I would now think about what you're going to say. And going quiet and looking at someone tells you can really go, someone will really go, I'll ask Dave to do it. I think that's a great decision. Yeah, you've made
well done on that. Congratulations.
You've made a great decision. It did get to a stage where I had a lot more clout than some of the general managers. I just got left alone eventually. But again, I would also stick up for a lot of people. I was asked on a live stream the other day, Aaron, I'm seeing someone being bullied and I'm just worried about sticking up for them, but I feel I should. And I'm like, isn't it crazy how you're questioning whether you should stick up for someone who's being bullied? Yeah. The reason you're questioning it, you don't have your finances in order because you need the job. I'm like, dude, get your money right. I would never watch someone get bullied. Never. I would address it immediately in never fearing, I'm going to be black marked because I'm the guy that stood up for what was right. No, we need to stand up for what is right. Absolutely. It's
100%. And so talking about finances, as it is so important, do you think financial education is something that should be taught in schools?
I do. We know it's never going to happen for the obvious reasons, but I think the emphasis is on the parents. You know, if you don't come from money, I think, well, you know, get your acting gear and learn about money. I think it's quite unfair to bring children into the world, and if you're not good with money, you're not bothering to learn. I think that's quite selfish from a parent's point of view. Look, money's super simple. Invest more, you know, spend less. Look after your money. Stop keeping up with the Joneses. I have a friend, bless him, he won't watch this, but he let his wife remortgage the house to have a whole marble kitchen and an island and all this lot, just so every now and again, every 6-7 weeks, you can have friends around and go, oh, isn't my marble table nice? What do you think of it? I don't care. Honestly, just serve the food. Like, I don't care about the marble table. Like, we're here to eat. And that's the thing. We're making financial decisions to look the part. And now, bless him, he's got to work like 80 hours for the rest of his life.
No.
I'm like, dude, you are screwed. And he's like, oh, don't, you know, she won't sell the house. You can have so much freedom if you stop spending money to look rich.
Yeah.
People want to look rich. And then they're behind the scenes. It's like, there are so many people out there at the moment who are like, want to escape your job? Do these 3 things. By the way, got to go. And then when they go, they're going back to a job. And then they're coming back on the camera in the evening. They're like, if you want financial... They're not living it. Like, if you want time freedom, just get smart with money. I mean, it's quite scary. Just, you know, what was the updated stats of it all? Was something like 86% of people in the UK who are working have less than £1,000 in savings.
Yeah.
I mean, 86% of working people is about 44 million people in the UK have less than £1,000 in savings. Like, that's legit. Like, it's so crazy.
But what really scared me is another report came out that said 1 in 2 adults were financially illiterate. That's 50% of the population. And that includes teachers as well as parents, which is so scary.
Yeah, and again, what happens off of being uneducated? People are fearful of what they don't know. So when they're fearful, they look to blame. What was their fault? You know, I don't have any money because of the government. And then what happens is we start blaming other people, when really, if you actually look over the choices, again, going back to choices, right? The decisions and choices people have made, that will lead up to where they are.
Yeah.
And a lot of financial problems have actually been, again, look, cost of living, no one can argue with me. It doesn't exist. It is media driven. How can we say that there's a cost of living crisis when London is rammed? Restaurants are rammed, bars are rammed, everyone's going on holiday, everyone's buying new cars, everyone's financing cars. Like, shopping malls are rammed. When England were playing, hundreds of thousands of people stormed the pubs. But then when they get home, they're like, oh, I haven't got any money. It's not what you've been doing for the last 4 weeks, spending all your money. Cost of living, okay, all right, if that helps you sleep at night.
I know, I have friends who would spend thousands, hundreds on beer and drugs and all that lovely stuff that I don't do. And then they'd get to the end of the month and be like, oh, I'm in my overdraft. And I'd be like, how? You haven't really gone out? And they'd be like, oh, those couple of Friday, Saturday nights are just spent too much money.
Yeah.
And I would just turn around and go, how have you spent that much money? You don't need to go out and drink and do all those things. You could just have one and go home, or don't go out, or do something else more productive with your time.
Excuses. The one that kills me is when people are commenting on my videos saying, well, how do you expect people to start a business? I've got no time. I've got a family and I'm the only income. Yeah, that's my life. Yeah, that's literally, go do your own due diligence. My life. You're talking about my life. And actually, I had no easy start. Like, I had it hard. I don't even paint the real picture of how hard I had it. Because no one cares. That's what I mean. I did it. And when people turn around and say they don't have time, again, it's so much easier to say, I don't have time, because then I haven't got to address what really needs to be done in my life. And the funny thing is, if someone said to me, I don't have time to start a business, I haven't got any time, I've got a family and I work 40 hours a week. Well, I did it. Now, I want to see your phone. Give me your phone. Okay, right. Oh, you spend 4 hours a night on Instagram. Okay. Watching cats jump off of buildings. Yeah, no worries. Oh, you've saved babies laughing. Great. You know, what do you do Monday to Monday? Right, now give me your bank accounts. I want to see where your money goes. Oh, love a bit of Xbox Gold, do you, big boy? Oh, now TV, Netflix, Amazon Prime. Oh, you've even got Klarna here, big boy. As soon as we start going into it,
Yeah.
we find the answers. You have time. Oh, you go down the pub with all the scaffolders every Friday and Saturday. Oh, yeah, but, you know, I've got to enjoy myself sometimes. No, you want to change your life and you want to build a business. Weekends and bank holidays, they don't exist, buddy. Not for the next 2-3 years. And you've got to sleep less. Oh, sounds a bit hard. I'll just do the lottery. Okay, you carry on with the lottery.
That is literally so true. And I think when people say they don't have enough time, the best thing you can do is do a time audit on yourself. So whether that be for a couple of days or for a week, it's just writing down how much time you spend doing things. I did it and I spent so much time just doing nothing.
Yeah.
Like I would just get stuck on my phone being like, okay, I'm going to do research for social media content. And then I get stuck doom scrolling for like an hour. And I was like, right, I really need to change this up. And then I started booking like half an hour time slots into my diary of things that I need to get done so I can keep myself accountable and have less wasted time.
Yeah, I do everything in 15-minute slots. And again, it goes to show when people say to me, oh, did you see so-and-so on Instagram? No, I didn't. Oh, really? What, you didn't see it? No, I don't care. Oh, but have you not seen what they're up to? No, again, I don't care. Like, I'm not bothered about what anyone else is doing. Oh, right. Have you not heard what's in the news? No. Unless I'm in it, I don't care. You know, or if someone says, oh, but you looked at my story the other day. Well, truth is, I was actually looking at my own stories and I left it for a second and it went on your story. Oh, right. You know, it's like your time is so precious. You can't buy time. You can't invest it. You can't save it. You can only spend it.
Yeah.
You have to be hyper aware of when you're spending your time. But unfortunately, again, if you're being honest with yourself, so many people are like, yeah, I wasted a lot of time. And again, if you're getting older and you're like 40, 45, 46, and you do that evaluation and you look back at your life and you think, I've wasted so much time, it can hurt.
Yeah.
And that's where midlife crisis and regret can kick in. But you can't change until you do that evaluation and go, I've wasted time.
Yeah.
I've not been smart. I've not made good decisions. But it stops now and I'm going to change my life.
Yeah. Looking back on your time, what is one thing that you have regret doing?
I wouldn't say I really have any regrets. I've asked myself this question before and I've been asked it before. I don't really have any regrets because I'm just aware that what's the point?
Yeah.
If I did something I shouldn't have done, I've made loads of mistakes personally, professionally. What can I do about it? Sweet FA. I can't do anything about it. Have I upset people? Yeah. Have I done wrong things? Yeah. I can't do anything about it. Can only go forward. So I don't really hold on to any regret, which is why I haven't got ADHD, I haven't got depression, I haven't got anxiety, I don't get apprehensive, I've never had a panic attack, I don't worry about what other people are thinking. What's the point? I don't know, thanks Dad, I suppose you've created a soldier of some sort. I'm just very thick-skinned and I don't hold on to things. You just have to, I just want to make the best of every day.
Yeah.
I don't tend to look back and think, oh, I wish I'd have done that.
Yeah.
Can't change it.
No, and I think it's led you to where you are now. So all of those things sort of happened for a reason. But I think it's just really important for everyone, again, just to care less. I feel like that's been the theme throughout this podcast. But those who aren't as thick-skinned, how do you build up that resilience?
Well, you've got to go through the trenches, I think. You've got to be picked and poked and pinched and punched because then you realise you're not made of glass. I think there's nothing wrong. I think trying to avoid it delays the process. Like, look, we all need social media. Everyone needs it. You cannot compete in any business or change your life without social media. Do I like saying that? No, but it's the truth.
Yeah.
Everyone has to be on social media. It shouldn't be called social media. It should be called something else. So people are afraid of the camera. They're afraid of getting the comments. But at the end of the day, they're not knocking on your door. They're not saying it to your face. They're not punching you. They're not threatening you. As long as you're not too controversial and you're disrespecting people, you just have to start. So I think I've spoken about this quite recently on some of my videos, is just starting.
Yeah.
Not having too much of a plan, having a purpose, having a reason why, definitely hyper niching. Like you have to find something that you want to talk about and taking the good with the bad and the ugly. You can't escape it. And I think my message would just be around that. If you don't act, I can promise you now, and I'm no psychiatrist or any kind of specialist, and it's well above my pay grade, but it will bite you at some point.
Yeah.
Like you will lay there on your bed one day when the man in white is sitting at the end and he's going, right, it's time. And you're going to go, bollocks, I should have done more. And I should have, no one cares. No one cares. So do you. And there's nothing selfish in doing you. It might seem selfish. Oh, all you care about is yourself. Yes, that's correct.
Because it's your life. You're the main character.
But I look after me, which means everyone around me is good. So yes, you are correct. I am selfish. Thank you. Goodbye.
Brilliant. And so what is next for you? Obviously, with Peak Performance, you've done a couple of events. What is next?
We want to build this company up to sell it in the next 10 years. That's one of my exit plan. I am excited to continue building Knightley Education, which was a company I started last year. It's done incredibly well in a short period of time. I want to definitely do more of public speaking and really getting my teeth sunk into helping people now. And I'm getting a real buzz of trying to really empower people to go, yeah, man, I'm going to change that, or I'm going to do this. So that's something like a passion through my personal brand. And then really it's a case of getting my name out there more so that I'm seen more, so that my message is seen more. And so new opportunities come in and I'm just enjoying it. But for me, I'm passionate about all of it. And I would like to think I'm a good example at this point and continue to be, from someone who has come from literally nothing, no leg up, no money, no education, no college, no uni, nothing, nada, to someone who is now like, oh, he's doing pretty well. Maybe I've got a chance, because you have.
Yeah, I think that's beautiful and poetic. Where can people find more of you?
You can't. I'm not online.
No social media.
No social
nothing.
media.
Crickets.
All of that, ignore. Just Aaron Knightley. Stick Aaron Knightley in anywhere and just make sure you get the right account. Oh, Christ. But Aaron Knightley would be fine.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for coming on. It's been brilliant.
Pleasure.